Okay, we're going to explore a very surprising possibility on the horizon called the holographic universe. To do this, we need some background. And we're going to explore a region that I'm going to call the metacosm. That term may be foreign to you, but it'll be clear as we partition ourselves. Before we do any of that, though, perhaps the most useful thing of the day will be a little tutorial about epistemology. That's a fancy word, which simply means the study of the origin, scope, and limits of knowledge. The study of knowledge, and scope and limits. Now, if you take that in college, it's probably a waste of time because it'll be given by the philosophy department, and you really end up just studying the different meaning of words through the years. You don't get into tools and resources per se. And so we're trying to answer what is truth, that an enigmatic question Pilate asked on the day of the crucifixion. We take very much pride, at least linguistically, in applying the scientific method. What do we mean by that? It actually means the empirical method. What is the scientific method actually, really? Well, first of all, the idea is you observe a phenomenon, you seek patterns and measures in the observations of that phenomenon, then you formulate a hypothesis from the description of that, and here's where most people miss. You gather independent data to challenge the hypothesis. That's what we really mean. There's some subtleties here that are critical. Let me point those out. It's a search for failures. Do you realize a theory can never be proven? It can never be proven. What we mean by that really is they can defy being disproven. Those are not the same thing. The attack on a theory is to try to disprove it. If you can't disprove it, it starts to have some validity. But it's never truly proven in an absolute sense. And Shannon's verifiability theory of me, incidentally, you probably know my professional background is technical, but also specifically in information sciences. And Shannon's theory of verifiability simply means that untestable statements are meaningless. If you can't test it, it has no meaning in the Shannon concept. And so the great tragedy of science, Huxley tells us, is the slaying of a beautiful hypothesis by an ugly fact. And so non-falsifiable hypotheses are non-scientific, and they're actually intellectually dishonest. In logic, the fallacy of argumentum ignorantium, which simply means an argument from ignorance, is not valid. An assertion that something must be true simply because it hasn't been proven false is a classic error in logic. We all make that, but we need to guard against that. Because scientific method is actually more rare than we would hope, there are inadequate masquerades in lieu of scientific method that we lean on. One of those is what's called the deductive method. That's simply deriving theories from generalizations about the universe. We make a generalization about it and derive a theory from that and call that deduction. That doesn't necessarily lead to truth. Another alternative to the scientific method are mathematical proofs. And many people stumble on this one. Mathematical proofs are simply elegant consistencies within a synthetic, that is, a man-made universe. In the field of mathematics, you have definitions, and from those definitions, you can build very elegant models. And the models, however elegant, are not necessarily valid experimentally. Don't confuse a mathematical proof from truth. They're not the same thing. And so there are domains of validity. There are a set of equations that have a finite but limited domain of validity. Gravity is a primary factor in the solar system, the sun and the planets. It turns out to be irrelevant in the galaxies. I'll show you why shortly.